All right, all you devils out there, happy Friday. Oh, and it's Friday the 13th as well here, and I think we have a full moon on top of that. All right, so all the forces of the universe are at play. I don't know what that really means, but here we go. All right, so all right, no doubt we've got high volatility. I mean, it's a perfect storm of, well, between interest rates adjusting and the war in Ukraine, the inflation, what's going on in China, the lockdown. No doubt about it. There's plenty of worry to keep you concerned about the market. And certainly within crypto, we can all acknowledge that we had a structural issue with the Luna. With the Luna coin and that entire experiment, I've tried to read through much of it. At this point, I don't know that it matters terribly, other than it was an experiment, well-intentioned. I think the guy was a bit of an arrogant prick when he was challenged about the viability, and karma has a way of catching up with people like that. But I do think that they will learn from this, and I don't think crypto collapses as a result of that. Now, obviously, I could be wrong there, but I think we're way too far down the road here. There's way too much money invested. Way too many extremely smart people have really invested not just money, but a lot of intellectual capital into developing this ecosystem. I don't think there's a threat here that crypto is going away. Now, that's just my opinion, right? Of course, I could be wrong. What's more striking to me is the complete panic in the market, particularly around Bitcoin, right? I mean, at this point, between what I read amongst my members across the space, right, pretty much everybody's sure that somehow this Elliott count is not going to be realized. I find that interesting, right? It's hard for me to understand that, right? And again, I'm not saying that I know where prices are going. I'm saying, as a technician applying Elliott Wave here, somebody's going to have to explain to me why you've altered your count. We waited for over a year to get this, right? Or to get something in this vicinity here, or to get our wave 4. And now, obviously, a few people are pulling the trigger. But the general panic in the market is, oh my God, right? Well, Bitcoin, we're going down, below 10,000, right? I mean, it's over, right? The bull market in crypto is over. I'm just stunned by that. Now, see, of course, I recognize here that this could roll over again. I mean, nobody knows where it's going. This could be 1, 2. We're going to go 3, 4, 5. I'm not saying that's not possible, but at this moment in time, Jesus Christ, can you get it any better than this? No, you can't actually. This is a 4-point to the tick channel of an impulse in the best performing asset in human history. And now you can't pull the trigger here? Okay, right. So I can understand the thinking. Oh, okay. Well, right. If we look, right. If we look at these, oh shit. What's the right way to do it? Yeah, here, let's just do it this way here. So you'll note here that significant pivots get tested, right? So up here, okay, we got to test the high, right? Let's test it. Down we go. Oh, how are we doing on the low? Let's test it down here. Oh, we better test this up here. Oh, we better test this. Test this. Now, here we got this lone wick down here, untested. So it wouldn't surprise me that if in the count, right, unless we're going to get another upthrust here, there's a count that would imply that at the very least this needs a test. But for me to change this count as a technician, again, I'm not just being stubborn. I mean, it's going to have to do this, right, for me to change this count. Why would you change it here? I mean, I swear to God, if I put this chart in front of any Elliotticians anywhere, well, oh, maybe that's too broad-based, right? Because there's always going to be someone who's a knucklehead. If I put this in front of 100 Elliotticians, if I didn't get this count with that channeling on a weekly chart, I'd be absolutely shocked. Why are you changing? I mean, okay, 233, right? It's probably right on the 200. Look at the balance, right? That's what I'm trying to get you to focus on here. Look at the balance, right? Here to here, right? It's fucking perfect. Perfect. I didn't make this. The market did that. Right? The market creates these lines. But oh no, right? That can't be the fourth, right? It's going to go lower, right? The top is in. See, a lot of people, I guess the thinking would be, oh, okay, here it is, right? There it is. 3, 4, 5. Okay, so then what are you thinking? Okay, so then you're thinking, oh, A, B, O. Well, we're going to go down here, and we might. That could be it. That could be what we get. I'm not saying that's not it, but just compare the two. See, to me, that looks better. If we had done this, right? If we had done the two here and not had this, well, then that looks a lot more like something you might anticipate, right? Then now I got the right look over here. But once we did this, right, we've just been sitting waiting for this. There it is, right? And again, you look at it and you say, oh, God, well, what would be the most obvious thing that would happen here? Oh, they'd sweep all the stops there and then bring it back, right? So as long as we stay, again, we got to get in and hold this range here before we can even think about getting to the next range. Right now, we're just sitting right on the edge, right? All we've done is they got all the stops, right? All the liquidations, everybody who was holding, 30 is going to hold, 29 is going to hold, it's going to hold. And it's the kind of thing where you look at it and you go, oh, I can see what they're going to do. I mean, they, right? It's always the mysterious they, right? I kind of like Wyckoff's idea, right? That there's a mysterious force here. Oh, fuck. This is on the tip of my tongue. It's on the tip of my tongue. The composite math, something like Jesus. I'm not a Wyckoff. I'm loosely. I studied it, but the composite man. I think it's the composite man, right? So there's always somebody here who's fucking with you. Market makers, whales, whomever. I just, before you abandon your bullish bias, look long and hard at that chart and tell me what you see. Right? And if you're seeing something else, if you see something else, then trade what you see. What I see is a textbook, like I couldn't actually request it to be any more perfect. Well, okay, so I've gone on long enough there. Okay, let's go over to the daily. Okay, so now we're looking at the internal count, right? So if this is potentially the low or an area where we're looking for the, let me get that off here, where we're looking for the low, okay, well, we got to do it here as a WXY. And of course, right, Elliotticians will recognize if we're going to finish in a 3, it has to be as an ABC, right? So it forces you working backwards into a WXY. Okay, well, let's just, again, right now, it's a little bit different on the daily. The angle's slightly different here, so I'm not quite to the channel low here on the daily. But let's just review the technical picture here. Right, again, we talked about this last week, right? So what was the logical thought here? Oh, they're just going to come sweep those lows, sweep the lows, run it, bring it back, right? That's exactly what just happened, right? Exactly. Now, what else happened there as I pull that off? Okay, well, so here's a corner pocket, right? So here's an algorithmic play, right? Algo got paid. What else just happened? The corner pocket hit its 80%, right? So there it is, right? Talk about it. Every video I've ever done, right? I've never once not shown this to you. Pay attention, right? 80%. Never once have you seen me do a video or a chart where I didn't show you that. There it is yet again. Okay, so boom, right? We're tagging now. So is that the low? Well, it certainly has the potential to be the low. I mean, that's pretty good technical confluence, right? And then we can see now, but it has to hold here. We've got to, oh shit, come here. We got to get back in and we got to build a base here, right? Now, if it's going to be tested, you could see another wick like that, right? And we'll look at that internal count here, suggest that, I mean, so looking at the daily here with the algo just tagging its target and pinging the median line, okay, you'd be thinking, possibly close to a low. Oh, now you'll note here if I draw your attention to the channeling here, so the 1-2 Elliott channel, well, we get this hot box down here. So this would be right in between the two where we'd have, so you'll note here's second target on the algo, right? We got through first, right, to tag the median line. If that's going to come down a little further, maybe go towards the outer edge, well, here's second target right here. at second target here, if I fatten that up a little bit, maybe you can see it better, right? So now if I hit second target here, I'm going to be coming right in line with the 1-2 channel. So that what I was talking about before is the way I'm approaching this is I think this is about a 5K. It's about 26.5 to 2021. Call it about a 6K range in here that would be, I think, well, let me back up, right? I'm not giving you financial advice. What I'm going to do is dollar cost average in this range, right? So I'm not going large size. I'm not going heavy leverage, right? This is additional accumulation. So if we're gonna roll over again, there's one more down, right, which there very well could be. I'm gonna just be buying consistently right down to this pivot, right? So right down to about 21, we're gonna come back into the 17 high, right? We're gonna come right back. So I think from where we are right now, right down to that 2017 high. So if we draw it over like this, we could do it this way. Let's bring it just right to where we are, right? So anywhere in this range seems like an accumulation zone. Now, what's the negative here? The negative here is that as we looked before, oh shit, where is it? Right, so right here, right, we've got these weeks where we went up so fast. That's why I put the volume profile on here. We have very little, there's not much of a base here. Right, so this is going to need to be the kind of movement here that is price action based rather than coming down to where there's an obvious level of support based on the market doing a lot of business here. Now, additionally here, so this is just the swing up. God, I have it somewhere in here. I also have, I think no, that's not the one I want. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so additionally, right, I just went from the pivot. Let's give me the whole correction here. Well, so you can see here, so here's the value area, and the POC is 38. So ideally, we get, right, so for a bull, right, you want to see us get back into that value range, right? We're get back into here, maybe then we can start to move higher. And the assumption would be that this was recognized as Bitcoin on sale. It was gobbled up, as sales often are, and now, right, can we hold, right? So this level here, these prior lows, that's going to be natural resistance as you see the market reacting to it, right? The prior support becomes the resistance. So thus, again, you can see the potential for that low to get retested if they can't get through on the first push. So you can see come back, there could be another little retest here. Oh, right, we come back down, test the low, right, and then come back here. Now, it's going to take some muscle, right? It's going to take volume to get through that. So heads up there. Oh, where was I here? So this whole area here, I think, is an area to be looking at. And now I've got to say this here. This cannot be money that you can't afford to park here. Now, if you can't afford drawdown here, then you need to have a stop on it, right? So my stop would be below that low. So I think you could use, anything. Well, it's up to you, right? It's a function of the amount of size you put on here. But at some point, right, if it's not money you can park here, well, then you're going to have to put a stop on it somewhere. This would be a reasonable range, right? Maybe the 38, something as you come into this. If you're dollar cost averaging down, get your average price, right? If you're buying, so maybe you split this in thirds and buy a third, if we're coming down to the low, right? Then you got to do your own math and do your own risk analysis here as to what's suitable for your account and your account size. I would not use any leverage. Why make yourself vulnerable to getting liquidated? It's just an area to be accumulating, in my opinion. That's what I'm going to do, right? So only take it as that. This is not me advising you. This is me telling you that based on what I see here, that's my plan. Okay, let's look at the trip down. Well, that little edit right there is courtesy of one of my star members who happened to notice in the video that I released to the members, because I always release this video early to the members. Maybe an advantage, a perk of being a member or just being in the free Discord, right? Because if you're a free member, you get the release early anyway. It's funny, it's always the members that are really, really studying Elliott Wave. If I make an error, they catch it. So I'm glad he caught that. So in the prior weeks, we were looking at the combination of the potential for the triangle. So there were a lot of ABCs, and I had an ABC in here that I forgot to hide. So Thank you to thank you to George, he knows who he is. He just caught it. Of course, all the members, I just posted discount here, but for you guys on YouTube here, I had to catch this, as that would have been a real problem here. So okay, so let's review here now on the trip down. So just to pull back out here, just so I've got then of course over here, right, everything's fine here, but so since we're doing this as a zigzag, we need a 5 in here. So let's go back here and let's count it out from the pivot high. No, I think this area here is a little tricky because it almost looks like you could put the 1 here, but this is a 3, this is a 3, and that's closer to an impulse here. So I think you are better served here to go 1, 2. Now here, this is definitely tricky here. And so right now, at this point here, so now I'm recording this. When did I record the first one here? So it's almost 4 hours later here. So we haven't done a lot. And if anything, this is insinuating that this count is the right one here. So let me get this here. Well, right one. It's what we have at this moment in time here. So we had looked at all the scenarios here with this as the potential low. I mean, it could be, right? Still could be. Of course, this is going to need to somehow turn into a 5, right? So either we're going to go ABC into a 1, and we're going to get some sort of a diag, or if this is ABC here into the 4, then we've got one more down, which will accomplish what we were talking about before or earlier in the video here, is come down here and test this low. Like, how solid are we down here at 25? So I said it would be unusual to not at least give it a probe. We say it that way. Give a little probe down here and test those lows, right? Does a bunch of supply come on or not? So, but just sticking with the Elliott count here, so if we've got to finish this with a 5, so if indeed this is the 1, we go into kind of a sideways 2 here, into the 2, well, if this is just a bit of a cluster F. It's not so it's problematic for a couple of reasons, but as I remind you, Elliott is not perfect, right? Just don't expect it to be perfect. There's often areas where you've got to make a compromise and just work with the larger context and the structure. So ideally, we would not have an ending diagonal here. And ideally, as also from the same member, right? Because he's studying the rules, right? So ideally, the 5th in a diag, the 5th would be, you know, at least we'd come down and we'd tap the 3 here, but we don't. So we're actually getting a truncation here, which is, it's slight. This is all wick, but you know, as a purist, right? Ideally you'd rather see a leading, not a contracting here. But I don't think there's a better solution here. So I think you are sort of stuck with this. I'm just looking at it. 3. I think you're kind of stuck. I mean, maybe you do it over here, 1 A, B, C into the 2, but then to the 4 would be kind of wonky. So you're kind of stuck with this chop monster here. But let's just stay with the broader swing structure. So if that we can, well, you got to make your own choice, right? If you're not okay with that as a 1, well, then trade accordingly, right? I'm not a purist, so this is, I think, the best solution here. So 1, 2. Now here, this is, and of course, this is something I talk about a lot. So for consistency, if I've got an impulse here, I want it all to be self-contained if I can. So if I'm coming down here, the question is, what am I doing here? So, right, so now you're kind of struggling with the number of the degree here. If it's 1, 2, well, then I've got to do something here I don't like to do, which is kind of go off to the side, 1, 2. Now, could I be done here? 3, 4, 5, like this? Well, if it was 1, 2, then you'd have to change this. Then this would have to be the 3, this would have to be the 4, and this would have to be the 5. I think that looks a little bit less likely here. So right now, I think this looks like our best solution here, that we've gone 1, 2, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 3, and that this is a reasonable candidate here for the 4. So if I draw it, right, we're coming from the 2, and we're just trying to, well, let's do the whole thing. Because we're trying to get the right look here. I don't know how close we're going to get. 1, 2. If this is the 3, now we could have complexity here. This could drift a little bit lower. But if we were going to come down and test it, oh shit, let's go off, give it a little more time. Let's not go too far down because I don't think we're going too far. Oh, let's see where it's 23 is a target that I'm going to go with. James M's got a detailed count. Oh, fuck. 20. Close enough. Okay. So this is what we'd be looking at here. So it's the chop here and then the free fall, right? So this is the UST collapse, right? So being exaggerated. So thus you might kind of fall into that as an acceptable count to get it done. And this still could be the low. It still could be, right, just off of the price action here, but we didn't get the impulsive kind of rip here, right? And as I said, now we could turn into a diag, and we could have an extension in the one, right? We could have a short 3, and we're going to do something like that. I mean, it's possible. Then you're thinking that the low is in, but if we're going to roll over down here, you're coming down to test it. Which doesn't change this plan here. We're still looking at a DCA within that range here. Oh, I think I got that right there. So so what am I saying? Dollar cost average between the 23 and the 38. Highest probability zone for a wave 4. Right. Well, let me rephrase. That's what I'm doing. Right. So can we get this done? We got to get a 5 to complete down here. So this is it's a bit of a struggle down here to get a clean count on that. But that's what we'd be looking at. So one more down here seems the most probable. Any sort of weakness, another sell-off in the NASDAQ wouldn't surprise me. But I think you can be, give yourself a target here. I mean, because again, nobody knows. Nobody knows for sure. Could be. It's already started, right? But if it comes down again, that's again just me. So what do I want here? I would do it this way. Oh, let's see. Maybe I'll do it this way. Oh, I don't think I can actually. So I guess I would do it this way. I would divide it into thirds, not halves, right? Or do it in half, right? So you buy in the. One thought is let it get into the discount zone here of this little range. Get in between this current low and the 38. Get down into the discount range. Others just divide it in thirds, right? Depending on how much you want to allocate here or whether you want to allocate it all. I mean, maybe you're the one who thinks that this is 1, 2, right? And it's going to 3, 4, 5, right? You'd be buying down here at the golden zone because you think likely this 3, 4, and now this is the 2, right? Could be. I'm not saying that can't be. I'm just saying that's not how I'm trading it. So trade accordingly to what you see. So if this has got one more down, that's what we're looking at. We'll probably come down here and go after that 23. I sure would be looking for something, a nice clean. It could be a diag, but just give me a 5, right? And don't give me a contracting. For the next leg here to have a lot of conviction in it, we're going to want a solid 5. If we get it, right? Now it remains to be seen whether we get it. Okay, with that, I just had to clear that section up because I had somewhere in here, I had an ABC, I think, left over from the idea that we might have gone ABC, and then we're going to go into the D down to the E, right? So anyway, cleared that up. Okay, so you YouTubers, right, you got a cleaner look at it, and I had a little error for the members here, but now we fixed it. Okay, guys, there you go.